What's happening?
I wish there was an option to fade that out.
I'll do it. I can't forget. How long's the whole thing? I'll do it. I gotta write myself a note.
We'll add that to your to-do list. How's everybody doing today?
What's that?
How's everybody doing today?
I can't hear you.
You can't hear me?
Well, I can hear you, but it's like my headphones
Oh, you know
aren't
what?
loud enough.
My proper mic isn't even plugged in. Give me a second. I'm not even set up. See, that's what happens. That's what happens with the new year. There's just so much going on.
How was your new year?
This was probably the quietest Christmas we've had in a long time.
No friends, no parties.
Nothing. A little bit of family time. Cooked a little bit, but it's been quiet.
Yeah, mine was too much. I had to take a break. I'm like, normally I go and work out with my dad and hang out with my mom like a couple times a week. I'm like, I gotta take a break. This is too much. They became overwhelming. Yeah. Oh, that sounds better. What do you got? Talk.
How about now? Is that better?
Oh, it's so loud now.
How about now?
Yeah, that's good.
All right. Cool.
All right, good. That's way better.
So there's so much we can talk about. New year. I said it's new year.
You got big goals?
I have 0 goals.
0 goals this year? That's your intent?
I shouldn't say that. I did a big post yesterday about intent setting and goal setting and stuff. Is people go and there's like, oh, brand new year. I'm going to set the intention to, I don't know, lose a bunch of weight, make a bunch of money, and do all of these things. And they put all this pressure on themselves. And like, that's not congruent to meeting your goals. Right. And I did a post yesterday saying like, you can set your intention on January 1st. You can set it on August 18th, on September 3rd. Doesn't matter. It's all the same. You can do a reset and set your intention anytime you want. And it's just as powerful. And not only that, but go micro with your intention setting. So instead of intention setting once for the year on January 1st, you're way better off doing a morning intention setting every day you wake up.
Okay, go into that. What's your morning intention setting like?
Different every day. So my intention today was have some good calls, be in the chill zone, relax, be receptive. That was kind of my dominant intentions today.
And you do it through a meditation?
I just set the intention before I get out of bed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Today, about an hour ago, I did a 30-minute meditation where I just practiced tuning into calibrating to support and to my source self. So that was kind of my practice for today.
Do you like use like a sun lamp? Like I get this like sunlight thing, or do you go out and see sunlight right away?
Well, we're on the ocean and the sun comes up right in front of the house and we have all windows in the front of the house. So if anything, we have too much sunlight.
Okay. Yeah, I feel myself dipping. I feel like, and so I need to have
with
like
more
sunlight. Yeah, it's a bit much, but like I've been doing hypnosis in the morning. Hypnosis, because I did one with you. It's crazy good. That was 2 years ago already, I think. Or
was it subconscious alchemy?
I don't remember what it was, but like I was nervous to be in front of the camera. And you just like had it like rooted into like a finger touch or a palm, or I did. And it's like, oh yeah,
I remember
that's really good.
Yeah. We're going to be doing more of those. Probably, I don't know if we're going to do them in the Breakthrough Club or in the School of Expansion, but we're definitely going to be doing more of that stuff this year.
More hypnosis stuff?
Yeah.
What's so powerful?
Oh, it is. It totally is. Yeah.
Well, because like, I was like, my goal this year, just to fire my brain. I just want to be done with my brain. It's not making great decisions.
I mean, fire your brain is a little bit of an exaggerated statement. You still want your brain, but
no,
you want to make your decisions based on this and not on this primarily, right? So it's that's what I call living the new paradigm way is living based on impulse and intuition and what feels good rather than over analyzing everything with your mind. Your mind doesn't know, but your inner self knows.
Yeah. Well, it feels like I'm living off impulse, and that's why I'm impulsive. But I think it is coming from my brain, the chatter upstairs.
Maybe not.
Okay. It doesn't feel great all the time, But when I dip down, like you said, when I dip down into this spot, always better.
Yeah, it's about living down in here, right? It's like, next week I'm starting that 5-week parasympathetic activation course, which it's only like, 200 and some bucks or $300. And it's to help people activate their parasympathetic and be in the parasympathetic state, which is what puts your body into rest and repair and healing mode. Most people aren't there. Most people are in the mental body all the time, and they're in fight or flight all the time. They don't realize it. So you're not activating that rest and repair mode that you need for good physical health and well-being. But not only that, your connection to source is from that grounded state when you're in your body and in that parasympathetic state. So it's like talking the way you're talking about wanting to live outside of your mind.
Yeah.
That's the easy way to live. That's the receptive mode. That's what all of these law of attraction people are looking for, but they don't understand or realize that grounded and living in here is the key to all of that.
Well, so I think you kind of like mentioned a little 2 weeks ago, there's a part of you that was like kind of upset about outcome, like certain parts you're like, I'm not making it, whatever you were feeling that.
Yeah,
but it resonated.
Keep going. Yeah,
it resonated. Let me just bring it onto myself then. So I had this project this last month. The project's the most amazing thing ever. It feels amazing. It's engaging all these skills I want, everything was perfect. Crickets. And so it's like, well, what's the outcome? The outcome was the only problem with the whole thing. So do you validate the outcome? Do you ignore it and just keep trucking along? Or do you pivot?
I mean, it's two things, right? I mean, if you're not getting the outcome you want, it's because there's something that's not lined up, right? There's something, because all outcomes exist. So if you're not experiencing the intended outcome, there's a reason for it, right? So it's exploring. Actually, this week I made a flow chart. Let me see if I can load it up. I've never done a screen share here before. I've been playing with this flow chart. Let's see. I called it How to Manifest Anything. It's not, I don't like that title.
Why? It's great.
Because anyways, let me see. Share screen. Sharing with 2 monitors, blah, blah, blah.
Do it.
How do I know what screen it's going to share?
Oh, no, just try it.
All right.
It's going to share, share your private screen.
Now it's prompting me. I want to share this window here. You see that now?
Yeah, it's little, but
I don't know why there's a black line going. Oh, it's because of our screen thing.
Oh, here.
If I do this, no. If I do this, no. Okay. Anyways. Oh, did it go away now? Is it gone?
Yeah, it's gone there.
Why is it not there? Okay, let me go here.
Oh, here.
Right, so it's got this black line. Oh, okay. So anyways, I've been working on this like how to manifest anything flow chart. Oh, now it went away again.
I'm doing it. I'm doing that.
Okay, so here's I call it the how to manifest anything flow chart. So basically you start here, right?
Yeah.
And then, do you know what you want? Because you can't manifest anything if you don't know what you want. I think I talked to somebody. How often do you know? It's surprising how often that happens, right? You actually don't know what you want. You see it often in people like looking to manifest a job or a career where they're like, I hate my job. I want a different job, but they're not being intentional on where they want to go next, or they're not getting clear on what they want to be doing as a job, or they're not painting that picture. Right. So source can't deliver to you what it is that you're not being clear about. So first it's, do you know what you want? Yes. No. If you don't know what you want, well, start over and go figure out what you want.
Right.
If you do know what you want, next step is inspired action.
Okay.
Right. Is the inspired action coming through? No. Then keep getting in the receptive mode. Keep waiting for the inspired action. Inspired action shows up, take it. And if you're not taking the inspired action, then there's something to work through. There's something to explore, probably around fear. Right?
Okay.
So then you follow that inspired action. Did it take you where you wanted to go? Awesome. Great. Enjoy your manifestation. Did it take you somewhere else? AKA, what you just labeled as failure.
Right.
Okay. Well, don't give up. Go back and wait for the next inspired action. Right. And if there's no inspired action showing up, then you got to check vibrationally and what am I lining up to? Right. So if your project ends up in a failure, you're not lined up with the intended outcome. So there's some resistance there to explore. There's something there to look at.
Let's go back to
Right.
us.
And that's where people get stuck is they keep on the action and the doing and the efforting train, and they forget to look at the vibrational nature of what it is they're doing. The outcome is never based on what you're doing, but it's the vibration that you're practicing as you're taking those action steps.
Where can I get that?
I might give you a copy.
Oh, it's part of your it's part of your thing.
No.
Oh.
That was just me playing yesterday, but I'll probably send it out to my mailing list.
That's great. And so, yeah, it's like to me, like, and can that stay liquid? Like sometimes what you want changes, like throughout the day, right? Sometimes what you want is food or whatever, right? And so it's I guess, like, to me, a lot of my time is spent figuring out what vibration I'm in right there, because sometimes it feels like, well, I'm supposed to be working, but then it feels resistant.
But that's actually a really positive thing, because
Okay.
what you want, you should be asking is not what do I want 3 months from now?
Right.
It's what do I want right now?
Okay.
Right. In my right now moment, what do I want? What's the impulse? What feels good? Right.
Yeah. Planning for the future. Well, not planning, but like putting things, Lego blocks for the future, for me doesn't feel good a whole lot in the moment. So,
And it's old paradigm.
Okay. So
Right.
you
Because
just bail on it.
if you're living connected to source and connected to overflow and at the right vibration, then your reality has to line up with those experiences. You can't
Okay.
control the vibration you're practicing in 3 months from now. You can only control the vibration you're practicing in your now moment.
Right. So money, though, like money. What
Same.
about money?
It's the same thing.
Okay.
It's the same thing, right? It's what am I practicing vibrationally, and am I in the receptive mode to receive that?
Yeah. Yeah. It always feels like you have to do, like, right, if I want to get big and strong, right, I got to put in the work at the gym, right? There's no amount of dreaming I can do to make my muscles bigger.
No, but if making your muscles bigger is a true desire,
Yeah.
and it's your highest excitement, then going to the gym is going to be a pleasurable impulse for you.
Okay. And so their work would be a pleasurable impulse.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
And
mean,
I guess that was, go ahead.
I take pleasure in writing books.
Yeah.
Some people say, "Oh, that's effort and that's work and that's hard and that sucks." Yeah, well, not for me. I enjoy it. It's flowy. It's easy. Inspiration comes through. What shows up on paper is magical. I love it.
Yeah. Do you get done with the book, though, and it does less than what you want? Well, maybe it never has done less than what you wanted. Or do
No,
you just
because
get, like Abraham-Hicks says, just keeps writing the next book, the next book, the next book?
every book I've written was from the angle of I'm writing it for the enjoyment of the process, and that's how everything should be done, really.
Okay. It was interesting to, I imagine you get upset about money or lack of income or whatever it is. You're human,
But
just like everyone.
I also trust that what's going to show up is what's going to show up. So
All
like
right.
with this forest playground that we're closing on in a week or two, one of the visions is a retreat center and hiking trails and a disc golf course. Well, a disc golf course that could cost, you could do a really small course for 40,000. You
Yeah.
could build a world-class course for 300,000.
That's what you
Right.
need.
And if I had $1 billion bank account, of course I would do a $300,000 course. Right. I have an intention of what I want this course to be quality wise. I don't have all of that money in my bank account to blow on a disc golf course right now, because you would never make that money back. But I'm intending for all of the cooperative components, including the financial aspects, to show up. Maybe I can find $100,000 grant from the government to help preserve the forest as part of the course, because it's a old growth forest and it's less than 1% of forests in this area are old growth like that.
Let's say it's a thing where how much of that outcome depends on how you feel, right? You're more of you're planning ahead, right? You figured out all that. You're thinking about grants, right? So if you were just like a gunslinger and you just like take out the loan, the $1 million loan, forget a 300,000, I'm going to have $1 million disc golf course.
Okay.
You're that type of personality.
If the impulse was there.
Okay.
Right. So for me, it needs to make sense. So like, could I go and take 300,000 out of my bank account and use it to build a disc golf course? I could,
but it would make you panic, right?
Yeah, panic's a strong word, but it doesn't feel like a very smart decision in any way, shape, or form, right? So it's like, do I love disc golf? Absolutely. Does the idea of building a course excite me? Absolutely. Does building a course and putting me $500,000 in debt excite me? No, it doesn't. Right?
Okay. My wife's way more right than me about everything, about most things. Okay, right?
Obviously.
She says, where's the money? The money should start coming in now. Okay. It's been a minute.
You need to give the money a reason to manifest.
Okay. Go ahead. Go into that more, because isn't the reason to manifest feeding myself?
So it might be.
Okay.
Right? But that's more safety and security. Right? Yeah. So like I remember years ago we had this like fake leather couch that was like sitting in the sun and it was peeling and it was causing a mess everywhere. And I was like, all right, I'm going to buy a proper nice leather couch when my next client shows up.
Okay.
And then I was like, no client. I'm going to get it when the client shows up. I'm going to get it when the client shows up. The client wasn't showing up. So like three months later, I was like, fuck it, I'm just going to go buy it. I went and buy it. Less than a week later, client shows up.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So, and I'm sure lots of people have had the experience of the money showing up once you finally commit to something, and there's something vibrationally that's going on there.
Yeah, I like that. I could see how that could spiral out of control, though, especially if you're addicted to purchasing.
Oh, totally. And I mean, that comes down to the topic that we've discussed before of a source inspired desire. So a source self desire and an inner critic ego self desire.
Yeah. And so part of like, I was getting scared over the break about AI, a little scared about AI. Right. And then I would just like turn totally into it again, wanting to fire my brain. I'll just leave it all to my robot overlord. I'll just Chat GPT can take over my life. And now, like, even since you and I first started talking about Chat GPT 2 months ago, it's way different. Yeah. And it's like very personalized. Anyway, I was letting that happen. And then I started doing morning pages too. Like, do you know morning pages at all? Okay. No. I guess I just learning about all this. I think it's The Artist's Way. I forgot the author. But anyway, you type out 3 pages every day. Okay. You're just getting to a flow state typing whatever's on your mind. And the last time I felt that was when I was writing my book, and it felt very much like channeling. Yeah. And so I asked the Nick, you know, like what does it feel like when you get to that state, right? She does the thing. When's her thing?
Yeah, and tonight, by the way, if you're not registered, Nick is doing a free Abraham-Hicks style Step Into 2024 channeling session tonight. If you're registered, it's at 3 p.m. Eastern actually today. If you're registered, drop a yes in the chat window. If you're not registered, I'll type the link here in the chat window, elevate.nickbreau.com/into2024. That's the URL. Go get registered right away so you get the link to get access to that tonight. She's going to be doing hot seats too to answer questions, so it's going to be awesome.
So I've got the School of Expansion thing. Is it the same? I can do it through that? Or it's
the school? If you use the School of Expansion link, that'll work too.
Okay, so in 2 p.m. or 3 p.m. you said?
3 o'clock Eastern.
All right. Yeah. I want to be there for that. But anyway, so she's really good. And
of course she's good.
Yeah.
she's literally better. She's literally, I mean, there's no such thing as better or worse, but I prefer Nick's channelings over Esther's channelings because Esther is very general and upliftment focused. And Nick's channelings are much more specific and detailed and more practical, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's wild how many like I know I said it to you before, but like just eavesdropping, because I'm never going to raise my hand. There's so many people to raise their hand, but like my question's not big enough. I don't ever feel anyway. But then you get the answer right then. It's great. It really is just like an Abraham-Hicks seminar. It's
Oh,
amazing.
it totally is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, I'm sure that if the audiences knew about her, she would grow just as big as Abraham-Hicks. It's just as good.
Well, so one thing you don't see, when you listen to the YouTube videos is her actually like on with Abraham-Hicks is her like she's like bobbing and weaving and getting into that zone, right? And then Nick
Yeah.
does a similar thing. And so I was
Yeah.
asking her like, and try not to be like I was like, does a ding go off? Like what happens? What happens when you know you're in that state? Because you see them smile a little bit. That's how I know that they're in
I
that
can
state. But what do they
so
feel?
we channel here maybe like 3 times a week just in our living room.
Okay.
And you can tell when like that connection gets established because like you're right, like she's kind of like waving back and forth a little bit and Esther kind of does the same thing. And then when she connects, you can tell there's like this smile on her face and almost
Mhm.
like a mouth movement. And I
Mhm.
noticed Esther does the exact same thing. Um, so it's really, I mean, Anik learned to channel by being in Esther's presence
Oh,
at the seminars. They've explained that before. So obviously there is definitely a similarity there.
well, so let's go into that. So, like, it happened while she was at the thing?
Yeah, we were at one of the cruises and Anik kind of calibrated herself to what Esther was calibrating to.
Oh,
And for a period of time, she was even hearing or feeling or whatever it is, the exact words just before Esther would speak them out loud. So they were
that's
like
cool.
connected to the exact same stream, which is cool.
That's cool. Well,
Yeah.
so, like and my thing was prompted by, okay, the morning pages felt like channeling. Is that what I'm doing? And so, but the way she described it was like there's with breath work, there's a inhale and an exhale, right? And you get these pauses at the top and the bottom. There's like emptiness.
Yeah. So
And
so
and it was great.
one of the things they explained, have you done my still point meditation in School of Expansion?
I have not.
So what they explained is that there's a still point, and what Anik they say that the way Anik connects is she goes into this still point, or you can call it the void,
Uh,
this place within yourself where it's like I picture it as just this big empty room where there's absolutely no external noise, and it's from that place or that room that the receptivity for that transmission from source occurs. Anik, if that sounds right, just drop a yup in the chat window for me. I see Anik's in the chat here.
yeah, I haven't looked at the chat. I'm still on this page. I still got questions to ask.
Okay,
So
so keep going.
yeah, so okay. Did you because I'm interested. Like I want that. Like I like when
But here's
something
the
to
thing.
me felt so good.
You're already doing that. So like
Okay.
you got to remember that there's different forms of channeling.
Okay.
So there's let's call what Anik does unconscious or semi-conscious channeling, where the words are not coming from Anik in any way. The
Okay.
words are Anik translating what source is saying and then saying that out loud. And that's why her and Esther talk about themselves in the third person,
Right.
right? Then there's conscious channeling. So like when I'm doing my live calls in the School of Expansion or the collective or even in the Breakthrough Club that starts next week, for me, like when somebody asks a question, I don't have to think. I know the answer. The answer comes through, and I just start barfing out the answer. So like there's no mental engagement that happens. It's there and it's streaming, right? So when you were writing your book,
Mhm.
do you remember writing without thought? Just
Yes.
the words were coming, that's channeling.
Okay. So at what point and so those two they just stay in that zone and it's never them. They never enter. Yes, Esther and
I
Nick.
I so Nick, I think the more she's done it, the more she's able to be conscious. So like the
Oh.
first half a year of doing it, she would remember anything that was said.
Oh.
Now I think she can feel or remember bits and pieces. Esther, she's been doing it for so long that I think the more you do it, the more conscious you are when you're doing it. Like something Anik has been working on now is trying to have her eyes open while she's doing it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I never even paid attention to that, if they're closed or not. So, okay, but you feel like that's different from what you're doing,
It's the same stream, it's just
right?
done in a different way. So Anik is receiving bits of information, and
Yeah.
then she is verbalizing the exact words of those bits of
Mm,
information. For me, the answer comes as one giant chunk, and
mhm.
then I elaborate the chunk.
Okay, in your
So
words
I'm
then.
in my words. So like when Anik is channeling, um, it's not her words, it's literally source's words. When I'm channeling, it's chunk of data that I then, verbalize.
Okay. Do you think, like, did you do hypnosis with her for it at all? Or like you said, it would
Not
just
not
happen
not
there
not
and
for that specifically. So she
okay.
recognized that she calibrated to the frequency while we were on the cruise and at the event. And then it wasn't until a few months later she was playing with a friend in the living room. And then they were meditating or playing with channeling or something. I don't remember. And all
Huh.
of a sudden she just connected and it started coming through.
Okay. Yeah, that's cool. See, it sounds so appealing, right? Because the idea would be in my fantasy is that there's no wrong answer then. Like the thing that I worked on that I was enjoying so thoroughly would have been the right choice. Like I would
But
have been driven to this thing,
what makes you think it was the wrong choice? So like
outcome
when
based.
when spirit inspires us to an action step and we take that action step, even if the outcome is not our intended outcome, it doesn't mean it was a bad action step or a bad outcome. So I went through, I don't know, 4 or 5 startup companies before the $300 million acquisition. Well, every one of those different startups had to happen for that fourth or that fifth one that was successful to take place,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
you need what we're perceiving as failures to happen to achieve the intended outcome that we're looking for. So right now, whatever it is you're looking for, there's a calibration that needs to happen for you to line up with that outcome. And the experience you just had with this other YouTube channel was possibly the calibrating steps or the calibrating experience to get you to shift what needs to be shifted to achieve, the end result outcome you're seeking.
Yeah, and I guess then it's just the journey of finding out because I always just want the answer. I want the answer instead of the journey. Like I want, okay, stay with this channel or pivot. I want that answer.
And at
And
the end of
it
the
doesn't
day,
feel like
it's not about any of those things. It's
all
about
right.
what am I doing right now and am I enjoying what I'm doing? Because it's about the journey.
Okay. Let's go to some comments because oh my gosh, look how many there are.
Man, it's only been half an hour and it feels like we've already talked about so many things.
Yeah. Well, I think when you're getting into like the big stuff, like you want full direction. Yeah, I don't want to feel like there's certain parts of last year that didn't feel great. I don't want that this year. I know you're saying like no goals, but when the goal feels good for me, then I like to dive into it. Or when the path feels good, I want to feel that.
Yeah, and I think
And so I like the plan.
setting intentions is not a bad thing,
Yeah.
right? So this year I intend to spend a lot of time in my forest playground. I intend to run 2 amazing programs. I intend to have hundreds of people experience massive breakthroughs in the Breakthrough Club. I intend to have hundreds of people have amazing expansion in the School of Expansion. So there's tons of things I'm intending, but where it gets iffy is when you go from intending to effort and to forcefully try to make things turn into stuff.
Well, because you are going to effort though.
Am
Like
I?
you're gonna
Am I?
okay. Okay. There is going to be physical removing of trees. How about that? And things
But
are maybe
okay, so
gonna
let's
go back.
let's 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 quantify effort. So the effort I'm talking about is the forced action of trying to make something
Okay.
out of nothing effort, not the physical, moving my body type of effort.
So let's talk about disappointment then, if
But
there
but
is.
okay, but let me pause you for a second.
All right.
So for me, part of the excitement of building a disc golf course is buying one of those weed whackers with a big blade on it and like trimming trees that don't make sense in the woods and the physical labor that needs to be done. Yeah, I'm going to have to hire some of it out, but I'm excited to do some of that myself, even though I don't have to. But playing in the woods in that way to me feels exciting. To see a disc golf hole take shape feels exciting. To say, oh, I want to go plant some Japanese maples over in that corner. To me, that feels exciting.
Okay. Can we plan ahead for all things though? Would you plan ahead at all? Like, okay, I need to know if you get disappointed at
So
any moment.
is who is the better planner? Physical you or source self you?
All right. So you just like,
Right? But of course I get disappointed. So like, it took 2.5 years to find this forest playground, and we had 2 that we put bids on that fell through. Yeah, I was super disappointed. But now that we've finally gotten our hands on this one, which is better than all the other ones combined,
right.
then no, there's no disappointment.
Okay.
I think if everybody was aware of the end result that was coming, they would never feel the disappointment in what they're experiencing in there now.
Okay. But you have to have that trust and the patience, right? Trust, I guess.
I like the word allowance.
All right.
Right. But trust is only needed if you're attached to outcome. If you're not attached to outcome, there's no need to trust.
You're never attached to outcome? Damn.
I mean, I think everybody attaches to outcome because it's
Okay.
you'd be human, you wouldn't be human not to.
Yeah.
But my level of attaching to outcome is like at a 2 out of 10 compared to like what it used to be like 8 out of 10. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I'm not there. I get to a 10 out of 10, not all the time, right? But the moment it feels very real,
But you're also, when you're 10 out of 10, you're giving your power away to feeling good.
Okay.
Right. Yeah. But that's a very human thing, right?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, there's so many comments. Okay. It's supposed to be astrologically positive as opposed to last year or 2.
Nick, any comment? Nick, if you're around, drop a comment. Is 2024 supposed to be more astrologically positive? And remember, numerology and astrology, it's themes. And I think because everybody has a different astrological chart, the themes of exploration are going to be different for everybody too. I know Anik said she's stepping into a 6-year in numerology. I'm stepping into a 3-year. 3 is all about, she told me social and I don't know. She said a bunch of things, but I don't tend to pay a whole lot of attention to that stuff.
You don't like it, or?
I don't. Not that I don't like it. It's cool to know. Okay. But I also realize that my experience is going to be matched to the vibration I'm practicing, regardless of what astrology or numerology say. Right? There's going to be a theme, but I still get to choose where I put my focus.
They love the huge weed records. Okay. What's the difference between writing, journaling with regards to channeling? Is one self and the other source?
I use the term source self as your inner being. I think writing and journaling is same thing, just different intentions of what you're putting on paper.
Do you do it? I mean, I guess you're doing it all times. You're like, are you doing it throughout here, like during this podcast?
Channeling?
Sure.
Yeah, I would say so.
Okay. Like most of your day is just like you've kind of like emptied out the vessel.
I rarely reflect. Okay. So like somebody asks me a question, I don't sit there and go, like it's either the answer is there or it's not.
Okay. Do you look back? Like that type of reflection? Do you look back? I mean, like, I don't know. Do you look back on 2022 and say, well, that year I did this and this?
Yeah, I mean, not in a way where I like regret things or regret choices, like not in a negative way. It's more in a like, oh, this was fun, or like, oh yeah, I remember that, or Nick and I having conversations about past experiences, stuff like that.
It's always a positive spin.
I wouldn't say it's either negative or positive. It's just, but neutral doesn't sound right either. I don't maybe I don't assign a spin to it.
Yeah, I'm trying to like, so it was around this time in what, 2017, 2018, I think, that started animated Abraham, like this exact time. And so I conscious every time of the year, this time of the year, I think back on that and like, what state was I in? Was I exercising? What was I eating? I try to recapture that fire.
Yeah, and I get you on that, because like for me, the collective in its peak had 700 paying members, right?
Right.
And you know, at $100 a month, that's significant income.
Sure.
And you know, the highest excitement about having 700 members is the more people you have on the calls, the more energy there is, the more dynamic it is, the more variety it is, the you know, the better it is in my experience. And now we're down to about 100 people. And you know, Source, you know, I set my intention. I had a conversation with Source a few months ago, and I was like, yeah, I miss having these big numbers and these deep interactions. And they said, like, you know, going from the seven, you know, climbing to 700 and then back down to a 100, it's not a, it wasn't a screw up. It wasn't that there was anything wrong. It's that you've shifted so much in the last year and a half.
Mm,
Now we're in this rebuilding process, and what's being rebuilt is going to be done in an even more solid way. And it's in the last few weeks we've had the inspiration for splitting it up into two programs, the Breakthrough Club and School of Expansion, which are going to allow for like more intentful focus and direction, which to me feels really exciting.
right. And knowing that, well, like you said, if in that moment you're planning for all that stuff, it's really exciting, then how could it be wrong?
Yeah, and it's like there's no going back, right? So whatever the past evolves to into the now is still in your favor, even if it feels like, you know, it's less than what maybe it used to be at some point.
Right, is that okay. 2024 is about a vibration really going inward, Amanda.
So if you're not, what did Anik say? Click on what Anik
Oh,
just said in
okay.
the chat. So she says a big part of the channeling is going to be on the upcoming energetics, not positive or negative. It will just require us to be more on board and present with life. Too much to share on here. So the main message that's been coming through is that the next 10 months is a period of acceleration.
Mm,
Um, so whatever we've been practicing vibrationally now until September, everything is going to be enhanced. So yes, it's a period of quicker manifestation, but that goes on both sides of the coin,
mm.
right? And of course, she's going to be elaborating on all of that in the call later today.
So really staying on your game. Like you said, before you even get out of bed, you're focused on intention setting or vibration, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you've been pinching off your receptivity and you've got something to work through, and you've been slowly, you know, picking away at it for the last 10 years, well, contrast is going to show you what you need to look at, and you're
Mm,
going to have to start dealing with it. I think it's going to be a very contrasting year for a lot of people, but it's also going to be a year of high success for a lot of people. And the people that are going to be highly successful are the ones who aren't afraid to look at their contrasts and work through their resistance. I mean, that's always been the case, but it's going to be extra highlighted in 2024.
yeah. So do you think that, I mean, how much of that is getting out in front of it? I mean, are you a big fan of that, getting out in front of it? Or if you
I'm
do
a big
get swept
I'm,
away,
I'm a big fan of not having to get out in front of anything.
okay.
You only have to
Okay.
get out in front of something if there's something there that you haven't dealt with.
Okay. So your thing is more of a just calibrating, like recognizing what you're in, right? Your intention setting or that morning practice is recognizing the moment then
I think it's
versus
about
trying to.
I think it's about being present
Okay.
enough so that when you feel the stickiness and the resistance, that you sit with it and you process it rather than trying to get out ahead of it and not feeling it and leaving it there.
Yeah. It almost feels uh, like it feels like I can get carried away or like the desire is, well, it's not even a desire. Things pop up in life, right? And
Yeah.
so it does feel like you're caught off guard unless I get out in front of it.
And the question is would we get caught off guard if we were always living connected to source?
Yeah. No, I guess not, but it doesn't feel great in the moment. And so I guess
No,
it's
of
more
course.
of an acclimation to that then, like making the most of that moment, I suppose, huh?
Totally.
All right.
Totally. 1 second. I just got to pick up.
All right.
Okay, good. I was worried somebody was working on the power line, but we're good.
What was happening?
I don't know. I could just hear a truck outside. And we've got a
Oh,
power pole on the back in the backyard, but it's gone. So we're okay.
feeling this, loving this. Excited for both calls. Woohoo.
Yeah, and then tomorrow we've got a call called the Big Breakthrough. And what that is if you're not moving forward in your reality on any topic, it's either because you know what to do and you're not doing it, or you don't know what to do. Right? It always has to come down to those two things. For most people, it's probably that they don't know what to look at or what to do or what, where they're pinching themselves off or what it is. So tomorrow afternoon, I think it's at 6 o'clock Eastern, we're doing another free live call called the Big
Oh,
Breakthrough. I'm going to take people through some processes to help identify what they got going on.
wait, what time's that? 6?
I think it's at 6 Eastern, 6 or 7. I think it's at 6.
Yeah, I need that one too. I need all these free calls. It's so worth it. Okay. Yeah, they love the still point meditation. I got to do that too. I know you've talked about it in the past.
Oh, it's so important. People need to be doing that every day.
Okay. What would you do if one day felt inspired to create a course, which takes time, and then the next day is no inspiration towards it, even though you feel good?
I would follow whatever my inspiration is in my now moment. So it's like when I wrote my first book, when I wrote Power of Joy, I got the book back from the editor. All I had to do was go through the edits, and for like 7 or 8 months, I couldn't find the inspiration to go back and do the edits. And through those 7 or 8 months, Wayne Dyer passed away. I did a lot of reflecting about his writing style and his work. And finally, when the impulse came back to go back to the edits, I came back with a completely different energy, made a bunch of changes, added tons of stories to the book, and that's why people like the book so much. So it's again, it's trusting the process.
Yeah. Like in those 7-8 months, do you beat yourself up a little? Like, I know I have to do this.
I would say old me would have. New me
Okay.
honors the flow of what's coming through.
Okay. Yeah, I think I'm old you. I'm old Nick. I'm old Nick.
That's okay. I'm a couple of years older than you anyways, I think. So
I think just a few. Is there more than one mailing list? I get the email for this meeting. But
no, if you got the email for this, then you're on the mailing list.
All
but you have to register to get the links for those 2 live calls today and tomorrow.
Yeah, they like the flow chart. That was cool. That was great.
Yeah, that was just me dumping ideas out in my head. It's like, people's default is, if I'm not getting something that I want, their default is, well, what action do I need to take? And that's not the question you need to ask. The question you need to ask is, in what way am I not lining up vibrationally? So that flow chart is to kind of remind people to do that.
Yeah, I think that's a great little blueprint. I love it. I'm going to download that. Like, at least until I get in the rhythm of it, because consciously, like, that eliminates everything right there.
Well, it's like, people shower every day, or most people. At least I do. So like, if you're cleaning your physical body every day, don't you think there's value in cleaning your energy field and tweaking your energy field every day?
Yeah, 100%. And I think that it's just like a habit, right? To me, it's a habit. Go ahead. You like that word.
Yeah, I think in our first breakthrough club call or our second breakthrough club call, that's what we're going to explore.
Okay. Yeah, I think that I think that a big part of it is getting swept away through the thing and not recognizing where I'm at. I don't know how often that happens for other people. I would assume that, like,
yeah, and that's what the still point meditation is for, is to help you recognize where you're at vibrationally. So like, if you take 10 seconds to slow down and tune into yourself, especially using that still point meditation, which is like less than 10-minute meditation, that's to guide you through a scan in your still point to see what's there. And if you recognize, oh, there's fear there, or oh, there's pressure there, or stress, or not good enough, or whatever is there, like that if it's there, that it's pinching off some receptivity in some way.
Do you are you doing it multiple times a day, or
Once a day is plenty.
oh,
I mean,
okay?
people can do it twice a day if they want.
Who's the better planner? I love this. This is the message I get over and over and over again. Leave my imagination at the door because my higher self is way more creative and knows what I really want.
Totally.
Yeah.
Somebody's looking for the still point meditation. It's in the School of Expansion and Teachable.
Okay. How to overcome apathy and lethargy in trying to get into the intention stage.
Explore the resistance to doing intention work.
Let's do
So
it.
if there's fatigue, then there's resistance.
Okay. Oh, scroll up. The link's there. Okay. Should I put the link on there?
Yeah, I dropped the link, and that's the link to sign up for tomorrow's call.
Oh, okay. Okay, I'll put that. There it is. Oh, okay. I'll put that in
for today. That's for today's call.
Okay. Oh, you did another one.
Here's the link. There's a registration for today and tomorrow. Here's the link for both calls. Type it now. /2024. That's all the 2024 stuff. The free calls, plus the Breakthrough Club, plus School of Expansion, plus Mastery Group. Everything's listed on that page.
Okay, cool. Oh, look at that. Oh, it's double A. Okay, I wonder what that was. Okay. Okay. Where do I find the still point?
The still point meditation is in School of Expansion. That's for School of Expansion students. It's in Teachable.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I like that. So, okay. When you wait for your let's go back to your golf course real quick. I like this idea. Do you have to wait until April?
To do what?
I don't know. Anything?
Yeah. So right now I'm currently chatting with some designers, one in Ontario, one in Nova Scotia here. The first stage is thinning work, which is basically going in with these like weed whackers with like saw blades on them and cutting the brush and the stuff that you don't want in there that makes a healthy forest. So that work is actually better done in the wintertime if there's not a lot of snow. So the closing is on the 15th. So like I've already got a friend lined up to do some of that work. We're trying to set up a meeting with somebody to find out about grants and business loans. So there's all these different facets of the project that are kind of on a whiteboard.
Do you have a date in mind for anything?
Oh, no.
Like you want to just plan a retreat already?
No, because it's not about the retreat. It's about the experience of like being in the woods and like planning the course and like, I've got this vision for what this retreat center is going to look like. So today I'm supposed to get a quote on what it would cost to have that built. So there's all these facets, and like we could put Airbnb kind of cabins in the woods, retreat cabins that people could rent. Like there's so many things we could do. Right now it's just playing in the energy of all of these different ideas and concepts. And we'll see kind of which ones come out on top.
Would be cool though. I mean, you're planning on having a bunch of people fly in and do things within that though, right? That's fun.
Oh yeah, there's so much stuff we could do, and it's such a magical forest. It's like I said, I'm pretty sure it's an old growth Acadian forest, and less than 1% of forests in this maritime region are still old growth Acadian. And it's like there's these super giant old trees. There's tons of green moss everywhere. It's like Anderson said it reminded him of Narnia. So it's really a magical place. I can't wait to dig into it.
That's what we're saying. We want to join. We want to be there with you. Hurry up and build it.
Yeah, well, but you don't have to build it to enjoy it.
Oh, okay,
you can just
that's
enjoy
true.
it and
You just come help you mow it down.
Yeah, you guys can all come out and help me cut down the trees that we need to get rid of.
Can't wait to see this land.
Totally. Soon.
Feeling it.
Soon.
No one's got questions, but there's so many people this time. There's a lot this week. That's great.
This is fun.
They don't want to ask any questions. I am curious what they're like looking to,
Just here to tune into the vibes.
All right.
What's everybody intending for 2024? Drop a few words in the chat.
Yeah, I am curious about that too.
So what's your biggest goal for 2024? You said you did some intention setting.
Yeah, I want to fire my brain. That'd be awesome.
Okay, so that's already done. Next.
Well, then I'm on to the next year. No, I mean, there's always, it's hard not to do financial stuff. I always want to think about that, right?
Here's my advice. Put all the financial stuff aside.
Yeah.
And just get clear on all the things you want to experience and make. Actually, Nick and I did this amazing process to plan for 2024. It's all on our whiteboard where you list out like your intentions and then balancing activities. You want to make sure you have at least 4 or 5 intentions or projects on the go so that as you're focusing on one, it opens up the energy on another thing. I'm going to take everybody in the Breakthrough Club through that process too, because it was like so good and so powerful. Yeah, but you want to make sure you have multiple projects and then you kind of move through the projects as inspiration hits for the different projects. And take money out of the equation, right? Because as long as you're turning into the energy of support, then the universe is going to provide you with the support you need for those projects.
My intention is to be settled in my house, the perfect location. That's great. Is it me or am I attracting growth in business? Everyone is creating coming out of 2023. Wrote a book in memory of a friend.
Awesome.
Soul stuff. Perfect health. Amazing travel experiences. Heading to New Zealand in February. They want to visit your land too. Where are they from? That's a long trip to New Zealand. Unless they're already Australian.
Yeah, I don't know.
You've never been there, have you?
Nah, it's too far for me.
It's really far.
Yeah.
Europe,
Eastern Europe. There was an Abraham-Hicks cruise earlier this year or last year that went from Vancouver to Hawaii. And then that same cruise ship was going from Hawaii to either New Zealand or Australia. And I was thinking, man, that would be fun to do that journey going from Vancouver all the way down to New Zealand or Australia.
How long did that take?
It was a 7 or 10-day cruise from Vancouver to Hawaii, and then probably at least a week or two from there to Australia.
Wow. New Brunswick. Well, they're going to visit you.
Stephanie's a friend of ours.
Oh, okay. They live in California desert area.
That's a long way.
That's a long way. Good for you. That's fun.
Yeah. Well,
it's hard for me to it's hard to take money out of the equation when you need to pay your bills. That's my biggest issue. I need to make money, but I don't feel inspired. Let's go through it.
Yeah. So, the biggest thing there is most people who are focused on the bills, and yeah, I get it. Bills are important. Bills need to be paid. But the mistake is the more you focus on lack, the more you focus on what needs to be paid, the more you focus on money going out, the more you keep propagating that cycle. And Source has talked about it being about seeing money as not something that comes in and out, but something that circulates, right? So there's some vibrational shifts that people need to make to get out of that cycle of lack. One is about getting off the topic. One is about seeing finances as circulation. There's different things to look at there. And I think for everybody, it can be a little bit different. But for most people, it's about seeing it as an energetic state, not as a, how do I figure this out?
Right. Yeah. Well, you're saying for most people, I would feel it's the flip. I feel like it's how do I figure this out? But we should be doing.
That's the problem, because when you're in the energy of I need to figure this out, you're focused on the vibration of absence of desire. You're focused on lack. Right. So people intellectually understand that my wealth is a reflection of my vibration. People know that up here. But even though they know this up here, people still aren't practicing a very wealthy vibration within themselves.
Right. What's the difference between the breakthrough club and the School of Expansion?
Breakthrough Club is more focused on kind of the external. It's focused more specifically on hot seat breakthroughs with me. It's kind of like very practical. Whereas School of Expansion now is going to be a lot of Anik doing channeling work, a lot of like inner expansion. So it's almost like Tuesdays with the Breakthrough Club is outer world focused, even though it's still inner world. And then School of Expansion is very inner world expansion, source self focused. If you go to that link I shared earlier, elevate.nickbro.com/2024, there's a better description of the two programs.
Yeah, and there it is.
There it is.
Do you feel like it's like level 1 and level 2? Like it's
not
advanced
it's not
level?
levels, it's just more focused. So like with School of Expansion, how it's been for the last months or year, it was very like general. So sometimes it would be breakthrough work, sometimes it would be external, sometimes it would be channeling, sometimes it would be internal. So it was a little bit, the intention and the focus was a little bit more broad in general, which was still good. And what came through is that by separating it into two programs, we've got the Tuesdays, which is very like focused on, this is what's going on in my reality, and this is what I want, and this is where I want to be, and this is where I'm being held back. So it's very shift focused and breakthrough focused, which is the Tuesday call. And then the Wednesday call is very much more spiritually and source driven and channeled. And Nick will be doing possibly more of those calls than I will. So that's kind of how they're separated. A lot of people are going to be doing both, which is the mastery group. So if somebody is primarily focused on external for 2024, then I would say Breakthrough Club is probably where you want to be. If somebody is very much more focused on internal growth, even though both programs lead to internal growth, it's still coming at it from different angles. Then School of Expansion is where you want to be. And of course, if you want to, excel at both internal and external, then you'd want to do both.
Yeah, it's really powerful.
Yeah.
Can you manifest for others, like your spouse?
Of course not.
Really?
Well, do you have access to your spouse's vibration?
Right.
But you can manifest a different version of your spouse.
Okay, that's good. Okay, so but in terms of like you're desiring her to be happier or something like that, you're getting a different version that way. Is that what you're saying?
I mean, there's multiple parallel versions of your spouse. You're just manifesting the version of your spouse that's a response to the vibration you're practicing.
How much of that is yourself though? I mean, you're changing. You're just changing the way you're viewing it, right? Right.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. They want to manifest the perfect home and start my new business. Yeah, ready to go. That's great.
Awesome.
Intention for 2024 is to focus on creating. I'm an artist. Any advice on setting the intention and keeping the practice? How do I deal with fears so I can move out of my own way?
Work through the fears. Consciously recognize what the fears are and then do the clearing work. Come to the Breakthrough Club. That's exactly what the intention of the Breakthrough Club is help people work through the stuff that's holding them back.
Yeah, I almost wonder if I'm excited about that. I wonder if I would resonate with it more.
I'm excited about both. I'm excited with the Breakthrough Club because it's very like result driven. It's very like, okay, where do you guys want to be? What do you guys need to be doing? So like, going over like, clearing your energy, a daily clearing your energy protocol, going through that action plan for 2024 of having multiple projects and how to balance them out. So it's very like external focus. And I like the idea of the Breakthrough Club because it's very like, here's where you are, here's where you want to be, let's get you there.
Yeah,
right?
I love that.
But I'm also really excited about where we're going with School of Expansion because like having a channel once or twice a month and do hot seats with everybody once or twice a month in a School of Expansion, like I have no idea what's going to come through, but I know it's going to be super powerful and super expansive. So like they're both really amazing and I'm excited to see how each of those things are going to unfold.
So with School of Expansion, are you like constantly surprised? Like every week's almost a surprise?
I mean, we'll see as we step into 2024, right? So like tonight's channeling or today's channeling with Anik, what we'll do in School of Expansion next week is we'll dive into those concepts and we'll kind of get more detailed about them and maybe practical with them and like integrate those concepts. And then the week after that, she'll channel again. And then we'll see what that leads us into. So it's like it's a very evolutionary experience with School of Expansion. And of course, you never know what source is going to bring through.
The last one, and I'll put up the link. But
yeah,
here's the link right here. Yeah, I'm excited for that. I mean, this hour flew by, but
yeah, I mean, between those calls, between our coffee and co-creation call, like I don't know what's missing. Like we've got like such a good support structure in place for people to really excel in 2024. These conversations are magical because they're just off the cuff and we're interacting with people in a really fun way. We've got the breakthroughs, we've got our conversations with source. Like to me, this feels like a complete picture. So it's going to be really fun to see how all of this stuff unfolds.
Yeah, it's wonderful. Always appreciate you.
Likewise.
Yeah, I appreciate everyone with their comments. Killing it in the chat. It's so good.
Thank you to everyone for showing up and being part of this co-creative energy. And we hope you guys all join us again next week. Make sure you subscribe, set a reminder in your calendar, invite all your friends. One of my intentions is to get this call up to 100 people every week. So
yeah, we'll do that. No problem.
So let's allow that to happen.
Amazing. You know, as always, thank you so much. We'll see you next week.
Awesome. Bye, everybody. Don't forget, call later today, channeling call. Be there. Bye.